Okay, go. See, here we go. Just starts just like that.
Well,
Boom. We just bang them out.
Right back in.
Siblings! This is Penn Sunday School, broadcasting from Whitney Rich's house, also known as Show Creator Studio South. Matt Donnelly, Michael Goodell, fuck them in the neck. We got Sharon Small. We don't need Goodell. We don't need Donnelly. We got the small man.
Yes, in the house, baby.
And here's your host, Penn Jillette. So we can just continue. We were talking about David Blaine.
Yeah.
But there's going to be, the thing is, when you're talking about magic, it was what Teller calls a tempest in a top hat. If you wanted to name musicians, if I said to you, just name musicians, living and dead, as long as you can, you'd probably hit about 10,000.
Right.
You'd probably hit about 10,000. If I asked you to name every magician living and dead, you'd probably hit about 10.
Right.
So the difference is that you wouldn't have like people from really different kinds of music commenting on each other.
Right.
You do have those weird connections like, Willie Nelson and Snoop and stuff like that. But mostly you've got these separate areas. But in magic, if there's only 10, 15 people, Copperfield and we are so different.
Right.
You would never ask us anything if we were in music. But because there's that word magic, it gets lumped together. Yeah. Now, when you were starting out in comedy, when did you decide maybe I want to do comedy?
I think I always knew it, probably when I was like 14, 15.
And who were your heroes?
Everybody. I used to love, I was right there under, I got to see a lot of New York comedians from Chris Rock and Jerry and all those guys when they were young. Mm-hmm. And, but I used to like Lenny Bruce. I used to watch old shit, Eddie Murphy, of course, and then Pryor. And then Carlin, I used to listen to everything Carlin ever did. Yeah. So I like a nice scramble of a whole bunch of comedians.
Well, you have that whole thing that happens, and this is when I was talking before about doing the play that goes wrong in character.
Right.
Up until late 50s, comedy was always dialect or character comedy.
Yeah.
You were Parkakakis, you were the Greek comic, or even in Unpleasantness, you were Amos and Andy, or you were the Jewish comic, or you were this and that. And then Lenny Bruce walked on the stage and said, "I got divorced today."
Yeah,
and all of a sudden it became first person.
Yeah,
and then Pryor took that and went insane with it.
Yeah, he went all the way in.
His honesty was so. Did you ever meet?
I met him a couple of times when he was already pretty old at the Laugh Factory in L.A. But even when you watch early Carlin, you can see when he was dressed up in a suit, Carlin, and then he went into the real shit. That
he changed. Yeah,
he changed.
I miss him so much. Did you know George?
Yes. I met him a couple times. Got to talk to him. I think he was part of that shift though in stand up.
Do you know that that George Carlin, when Lenny Bruce was busted in New York, George Carlin went up to a police officer and said he was underage in the bar and needed to be arrested. So he'd be thrown in the paddy wagon with Lenny Bruce.
What?
And he rode to the jail with Lenny. He was 15.
What?
And Lenny Bruce was arrested. And George Carlin had told that story a lot. And then, this cat, Hal Wilner, who does all the music for Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Hal had all the Lenny Bruce tapes. 100 hours.
Of the tape, his stand-up?
From his son. No, from his daughter. All his rambling. He had all his rambling and talking to his friends and all this stuff. And Hal listened to all of it. And Hal sent me, a lot, 30 or 40 hours.
What? You still have this?
I have it somewhere. And also he culled it and put it out. If you talk to Hal, you can get it. Right. And I would just have it on in the background because, obviously 95% of it is nothing.
Right.
Just a guy talking and mostly a guy high talking, which is less interesting. Like being at CBGB sober. And then right in the middle of it, there's this one little section where he goes, there was this asshole kid who gets himself busted just to be in a paddy wagon with me. This like Irish kid or something gets himself in and he says, and he doesn't remember his name. He says like Cartling or something. Right. Gets in the thing with me, and he got himself arrested just to ride with me to the police station. And he talks a little bit about the conversation, and I got that, and I called George, and I said, I found Lenny talking about meeting you. And George went crazy, and I said, I'll put that together, but there's a punchline that's going to make you very unhappy.
Uh-oh.
That's when George died.
Oh, shit. I know his daughter.
Sure.
Give it to her.
Yeah.
But he died before you got it to him?
Yeah.
Damn, U.S. mail.
Yeah. I didn't ever edit it out. But yeah, George did that.
So he mentioned him in the tape.
Yeah, mentioned.
That's unbelievable.
This asshole kid.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Because, to me, Lenny Bruce was everything.
Right.
I was in Western Massachusetts. Lenny would talk about, these stupid goy farmers, which was me. Right. All I ever wanted when I was growing up in high school was to be from New York and be Jewish.
Right.
That's all I wanted. That's what I wanted to be, because I thought, man, I could just be, but I can't walk in, at 6'7" off the farm and say, let me do some shtick for you. You know what I mean? I can't say, hey, this schmuck was driving in from Jersey. At least you were from New York.
Yeah, that's true.
At least you had that going for
you. Were listening to him on tape? Or
the records.
The records.
And because of Frank Zappa.
Right.
Which is because of the Monkees.
Right.
And, Monkees did this stupid show on TV. I listened to their records. Mike Nesmith does an interview, says, listen to Hendrix, listen to Zappa. Right. I listen to Zappa. Zappa on the record says, listen to Lenny Bruce. I go to the library, get the Lenny Bruce. Pretty soon I got that Carnegie Hall record. Pretty soon I'm playing that over and over again.
How old were you then when you had that Carnegie Hall, when you first got that?
12, 13.
Wow.
14. And here I am, trying to walk around Greenfield, Massachusetts, trying to do that kind of humor with my friends, who, sprinkling my talk with Yiddish, talking about driving out to Jersey, you know what I mean? Say this schmuck, talking like that to people who had never met someone who was Jewish.
Right.
Like one kid in our school.
Right.
We had a very homogeneous.
It's like a farmy kind of situation, right?
Yeah, farm factory.
Right.
We all had the same last names. We all looked the same.
Right.
It was all the same stuff. Now, of course, it's changed.
That was 60s?
Not really, 70s.
70s, yeah.
Because, like I said, I'm 64, so I would have been, Woodstock. I was 14. So you can figure it from there.
So right before Lenny and his style, what did you listen to right before that? Before that broke you open into that kind of comedy?
Smothers Brothers.
Smothers, they were fucking great.
Really,
they were fucking great
really
and smart and just funny as hell.
The Smothers Brothers, so wonderful, and
they gave a lot of pushback. People don't give them credit for.
Well, a lot of pushback. Being fired for being against the Vietnam War.
Yes,
I mean,
and making jokes about it on CBS.
That's about as heavy as you can get.
You can't get bigger than that.
And it's really something. There aren't many cases. I mean, when Bill Maher made the comment about the 9/11 terrorists not being cowards,
right?
He said, which I think you can pretty much say that whatever was wrong with those people, cowardice was not one of them. No. But everything was called coward. And Bill Maher came out and said not cowards. And then shortly after he was fired. And
that was politically incorrect.
Yeah, yeah. The show was canceled.
On ABC.
And you could never make the case that he was canceled for that because the ratings weren't that good.
Right.
But the Smothers Brothers had the top ratings on CBS and their show was canceled.
Yes.
I mean, I can't think. Can you think of another case of that, Reddy?
Nope.
No.
Top ratings in, Roseanne Barr, I suppose.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, we don't want to think of that because it's a different side.
That's true. That's true.
But you mean
But Roseanne did something that was off her show, like off air.
That's right. That's right.
They were doing shit on air in the middle of it was so much tension.
And everybody claims that they were the ones that got him fired. Pat Paulson claims it. David Steinberg claims it. It's really hard to say.
Who did it?
Well, there's a whole documentary on this. But Nixon was actually calling the head of CBS and saying, "Get rid of these."
Yep.
That was, of course, now in the age of Trump, that's not as shocking.
Right.
We go, well, of course the president was calling, telling someone to fire somebody. Of course that was happening.
Right.
But for those of us who remember a time before Trump, that used to be a crazy thing.
That is.
Yeah, with the Smothers Brothers, and then from the Smothers Brothers right to George Carlin, right to Lenny Bruce, and
that's
then
when
right to
American
Richard
stand-up
Pryor.
shifted around that time.
Well, you don't even have to say American stand-up. That's
stand-up.
when stand-up was invented.
Right.
That idea of, that's what I started talking to you about the last show, is how much of the stuff you're talking about is stuff that's about your life right now. How much is the Lenny Bruce, I got divorced today?
Oh, it's a lot. Maybe that's a lot of my shit, because I talk about my life and my struggles and my kid. So I like to talk about, I like to make it personal first and then go into, all the other stuff.
And it's so amazing that style of entertainment has really only been around for like 60 years.
Tops.
60 years.
Yep.
And that idea that the stand-up was someone speaking poetically about their own life is really a brand new thing. And you really can draw the line directly. I mean, you get directly from Lenny Bruce to Chris Rock.
Yeah.
There's you don't need anything in between.
Yeah.
You just get someone. I happen to think Chris Rock is one of the best.
Oh, no question about it. Chrissy is he's one of the top dudes.
Yeah, just fabulous.
Because he works like he's still he works at comedy like he's working like a driving a truck.
Yeah.
Like he takes the shit serious.
Well, also Seinfeld does.
And Seinfeld as well. But
and
they come from that,
Seinfeld is a very, very different thing for me, because it's so hard for me to just take the jokes. Seinfeld is so, I guess, wholesome.
Yeah.
He doesn't scare me at all.
Right.
And when I listen to Chris Rock, I'm a little scared.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's stuff that I don't want to think.
Right.
That he makes me think.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for out of art. So Seinfeld is so incredibly skilled.
Right.
And such a wonderful guy.
Great guy.
Yeah. And his stuff is just, I think you can't be better crafted than Seinfeld.
It's crafted perfectly. But to some people it might seem, I don't know.
It's a bit anodyne. It's a bit safe.
Missionary, if you will.
But it's so
But it's tight as fuck.
So funny.
It's so tight. Jerry's a genius.
And didn't that thing just came out where he trashing Bobcat?
Oh, was he?
Did you hear about this?
No.
Did you follow
Bobcat's hilarious too.
Did you follow this at already?
I don't think so.
It's
Tell me
crazy.
more.
Jerry was attacking Bobcat?
I think I might have heard Bobcat talking about it.
It's this nutty moment. I mean, you got to check it out. Seinfeld has on a comic, and she says she's friends with Bobcat.
This is on driver's cars? Okay.
But they blip out Bobcat. And then Seinfeld just says, I hate fucking, and then they blip him out again. And then he does like 2 minutes of how not funny and I hate him, and goes on, and they blip it out. And because the name is Bobcat,
right,
and because lip reading isn't that hard,
right,
people busted it like right after it aired.
What?
And
I gotta watch that.
Seinfeld, I'm trying to think of another time he spoke badly about anybody.
Right, definitely a comic.
I mean, Gilbert did the meanest Seinfeld impersonation all the time, and
I love Gilbert Gottfried.
He never said a word against him, about Gottfried, but he went after Bobcat. So strange.
On his show, on the Comedian's Cars.
Yeah, and I guess they thought blipping it out was okay, but if you want to blip something out, you got to be careful. There's lip readers all over the place.
Yeah, it's usually like pixel to mouth too.
Yeah,
but why didn't pixel it?
I don't know.
Start beef.
Yeah, maybe Seinfeld wanted people to know that he's mad at Bobcat. Of course, Bobcat and
he wanted a funny album.
Just had an accident, right?
Yeah.
just had a traffic accident. He and Dana Gould, right?
Yes.
Did you hear about this?
No.
Traffic accident down
Just this week.
Down south. Right?
It wasn't Jerry who crashed him, was it?
Yeah, he was driving. It was Porsche. I was worried it was a Porsche that hit him.
It's a new show, Comedians Undercars.
Yeah, when the Porsche hit him, I was worried. I said, "You sure it was a Porsche?"
Oh, is he all right? Is he good?
Yeah. It was like broken ribs and shit.
Oh shit!
It was like real stuff. But I was in L.A. and a friend of mine got a text from Dana Gould that they were all right, but they were hit. So Bobcat has Seinfeld trashing them, and then gets hit by a car simultaneously. God's hating Bobcat this week.
It's not a good week for Bobcat.
So you Pryor, Chris Rock, and you would see Chris Rock working live in New York?
Yeah. Chrissy, because I'm related to him, so he's a cousin. Me and Tony saw it together. Yeah, me and Tony Rock, we saw it together too. So I grew up watching Chris. That's why we got into comedy, because we saw Chrissy doing it and we was like, me doing this.
Did you just say Chrissy?
Yeah, that's
you
what
just said Chrissy.
I did.
You said Chrissy. It was like when I'd hang out with Arthur Penn, the great director who did like all these movies. Yeah. He would say Dusty.
And
I'd say Dusty. He said Dustin Hoffman. And I go, Dusty, you just said Chrissy.
But I've been calling him that since I was born. So. Yeah, Chrissy.
And so you would see. I saw Chris.
We used
Rock.
to sneak into like the comic strip, like young. This wasn't even like Lucian. I don't know if you know Lucian Hold.
No.
Who used to run the club, but these guys were like superheroes to me and Tony. Like
yes,
they were superheroes.
And to everybody else, I saw Chris Rock. Man, we were in Montreal at Just for Laughs, and it was really a long time ago. Might have been even the 80s. He was really, really young. And we saw him do a set, and I was just like, holy fuck. And I saw him. I don't know him at all. I can't claim to know him. But I saw him afterwards and just said, how are you so good? Where did you come? Mother, Jesus Christ. That's all I think I said to him. Shook his head. God damn. I've seen him a couple times since, but I am just...
he's a beast.
Yeah, he is. He's
a beast.
Insane. But you'd be like 14 or 15. And I'll tell you, Sherrod, no matter how good you are, you should be better.
Yeah.
If you were watching Chris Rock when you were 14, man, sneaking into clubs and seeing him?
Well, yeah, we used to come into clubs. He would drive up there just to pick something up. We would drive with him in his dumb little car, me and Tone.
Yeah.
I remember sometimes he used to drive Richie Tinkin's car with the owners who used to manage Eddie Murphy. Yeah. He used to drive Richie's car back to the house because Richie was too drunk to drive. So Chrissy would bring the car. It was a whole thing. But yeah, he was definitely inspiration.
And who else were you seeing when you were that age?
Fucking Jerry, Chrissy, who else? It was just so many people. It was I'm trying to think about everybody who I liked. Even like names that you might not even know, like D.F. Sweedler, when D.F. was a beast in the 80s. It's like, it's some comics that I know there's older dudes now that younger comics don't even know about. But when you used to go see them in the clubs, like Chrissy couldn't follow them. It used to be like just big names that was, like D.F. Sweedler was one of the hardest follows.
You know that name?
I don't.
In comedy. But he just teaches the class at the comic strip. And, but he used to be there when Eddie and all of them were there in the 80s. But he was like a hard follow. He was like the Seinfeld kind of thing, too.
So you would see Eddie work live?
Yeah, so Eddie worked a couple times. Definitely at the comic strip. I still watch those tapes. I still have some of them at my house.
Wow.
Of him working on the old stage.
Yeah.
And Seinfeld, too. And they showed some of Seinfeld's clips, too, because he did a new special at the comic strip recently. And they went through some of his old stuff. But they taped everything. They got so much footage in that fucking place.
Wow, it's amazing. I remember going to one of those when I first got to New York, and I was 19, which had been like 74.
Right.
I went to one of the clubs and saw Gilbert Gottfried, who was my same age.
Yeah, I was with him last week.
And it was incredible.
Incredible.
Seeing Gilbert on stage.
Beast.
Mad.
Even right now,
crazy.
He's an old dude. As soon as he hit that stage, boom.
And does stuff that you can't even conceive of.
Right.
I mean, everybody else working, you can kind of lay out what they're doing. But he does references that nobody gets and gets laughs with him.
He laughs with him because it's his technique and his style.
Oh, he's so good.
It's so tight. He's so tight. And Colin, I remember when Colin was a bartender.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
He was a bartender at the comic strip, and he used to come because Colin's from Brooklyn too. So I never looked at Colin like he was a white dude. I never have since I was 9. I just went to his wedding. He just got married recently, but I remember Colin working on his jokes and being a bartender / comedian at the comic strip.
Yeah, boy, he's good.
He is one of the best.
And so brave.
That CNN, that red state, blue state is a masterpiece.
I haven't seen it yet.
Watch it.
No.
Masterpiece. The motherfucker's unbelievable.
Yeah, boy, I would have loved to. I would have loved to seen Chris Rock a lot.
Yeah,
that would have been amazing. I'm going to talk about Podcats. Podkats, Las Vegas Entertainment. If you care about Las Vegas Entertainment, Katz is the guy. Katz is the guy, writes about everybody in the Review Journal. Most recent episode is David Copperfield, but he's done Piff the Magic Dragon, Dana Carvey, Craig Ferguson, Perez Hilton, Ice Cube, Wayne Newton, Carlos Santana. I love Ice Cube and Wayne Newton being, they're the same thing. They're the same thing.
They're both Crips, right?
They're the same guys. To find the show, search Podcast Las Vegas Entertainment. That's Podkats Las Vegas Entertainment, wherever you get your podcast. Like Penn Sunday School, check out Podcats Las Vegas Entertainment. The Review Journal, each episode, Kat spends about 30 minutes hanging out with a different celebrity guests. Past guests include, it's all world-class entertainers. To find that episode, in every episode, search Podcats Las Vegas Entertainment. That's Podkats Las Vegas Entertainment, wherever you get your podcasts. Go subscribe right now. We'll still be here. Boy, I like cats. We should have cats on our show again.
Yeah.
Bring them through.
I like having them on.
Ice Cube writes the rhymes that Wayne says.
I remember Wayne Newton. I used to come here in the 90s because my girlfriend went to UNLV that I went to prom with in Brooklyn. She went to UNLV. She still works here. She a principal at Liberty High School.
Oh, cool.
And I remember we used to go, she used to drive me around. We saw Wayne Newton's house. First we saw Mike Tyson's house. Nice house, little tiny thing. Wayne Newton's house it looked like the whole state of Nevada.
Well, do you know that Mike Tyson broke through the wall of Wayne Newton's house and would go hang out in his yard?
No.
Yeah. Wayne Newton
was right up the block from his house.
Yeah. He would go.
He had that gate around.
Yeah. He would just, when Mike Tyson breaks into your house, you let him. I don't know if you know Ratso. Ray Sloman, Ratso. He wrote the Stern books and he wrote the Tyson book.
Okay,
Tyson.
no, I don't know.
So Ratso would stay at my house when he was writing the big Tyson book. He wrote the big autobiography with Mike. So I don't know boxing. I don't know anything about anything. I don't know sports, at all. But because Ratso was writing the Tyson book, I come backstage of the Penn and Teller show in the Penn and Teller Theater.
Right.
And I'm walking by the green room, and I look in, and someone's sleeping on the couch, and I see the tattoo on their face, and Mike Tyson is sleeping on our couch backstage.
Get the fuck out.
Hang it out. So you just kind of go, what turns did my life take that I got Mike Tyson sleeping? And so our piano player goes in, and I go, well, when you go in the green room, be a little quiet when you go in to get your Diet Coke and your snacks because Tyson's sleeping on the couch. And he goes, what'd you just say? I said, Mike Tyson's sleeping on the couch. He said, I thought you said Mike Tyson's sleeping on the couch. I said, he is. And I said, I don't know. Seems like if he wakes up mean, you don't want to be the one there.
No, you don't want to be the one there.
That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I was hanging out with Tyson in Vegas,
nice.
And Wayne Newton, and I don't know how this this big square-headed farmer from Western Massachusetts ended up with Tyson and Wayne Newton in Vegas. But there you go.
Bananas.
Things take weird bounces. When you play Vegas, where are you playing?
I'm playing the Comedy Cellar at the Rio.
Oh,
so doing 14 shows.
In my same?
Yes.
So you'll be able to find your hotel by looking for a 300-foot picture of me.
That's right. That's what I look for.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's where you get there. Is that a good place to play? You like
Great room. I like that room a lot. I've been playing the Comedy Cellar, since 1999 or whatever in New York City. But this club this room that's open like 2 years ago, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it's a great room. Great room. The food's great. The stage is great. They get crowds in there, so you can't ask for more.
And how often do you play here?
I probably here like every 3 months.
Every 3 months.
Something like that, yeah.
And is it do you go home between every gig, or is some of it a circuit?
I'll go back home after this one because I got to shoot something for BuzzFeed back in New York. Mm-hmm. But then I'm going back out on the road. But I'm in New York a lot. I'm in New York a lot.
And you work there a lot.
Yeah.
And what do you do outside of stand up? You doing
radio and TV and
I see you.
stuff,
You're on all those. You're on a lot of those things that I'm on.
Oh yes,
like look backs.
Oh, the political stuff, and then and then
although political stuff's kind of sort of gone away because it's all just Trump.
Yeah,
there's nothing else to say.
You know, I miss Red Eye.
Oh, wasn't Red Eye great?
Red Eye was great. It still should have been on. It was a different. Talking about perspective, it was a different perspective. Definitely for Fox News.
Really,
but I think for old news, it was just a good.
When they first asked me to go on Red Eye, my manager, the long-suffering Glenn, said, "You're going on the comedy show on Fox," and I go, "There's not a comedy show on Fox. Right. What the fuck? Fox News is a comedy show. Good, great. God bless them. let them have their little comedy show." And he said, "No. You should go on. Greg Gutfeld's really good.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Jon Stewart." Had like 15 writers working all the time to do like a half-hour show.
Yeah.
And
Red Eye had two. Maybe just him and Bill.
Yeah, but they were both on the air.
They're both on the air, right.
No off air.
Yeah, no off air. No, right. It was Andy, Bill, and Greg, and they were all on air.
Doing everything.
And it was a tight show.
And doing an hour and always really fun to go on.
Yes.
And really not afraid of anything.
Yes. It was on at 3 a.m. too on the East Coast, which helped.
Yeah.
But I knew people in Israel who used to call me and watch it because it came on like 11 a.m. there. It was their view, the view.
Start your day with Red Eye. Yeah, the view.
Yes.
Yeah, the proper view.
The proper view.
Yeah. And he was Greg is so funny and so good. So smart. And also so complex.
Yeah.
You expect MSNBC and Fox to be really, really two-dimensional.
Yeah.
They have no depth at all. And Greg, you can't guess what he's going to say.
I agree.
And I love that. My friend Tim Jennison, we did a movie called Tim's Vermeer. And it's about Tim Jennison who painted a Vermeer in his garage. And
in his garage.
Yeah, using he contends, and he has a lot of evidence on his side, that Vermeer was not a painter, that he was a photographer. And he was using a device.
And taking photos?
With 17th century technology essentially doing that. And he, in order to prove this, did that. It's a pretty good movie, Tim's Vermeer. And Tim's been a buddy of mine forever. And Tim says,
that's fascinating.
If you give me 2 data points about you and I can guess the third, I'm not interested. Like if you tell me that you are a Grateful Dead fan and you tell me that you're against nuclear power and then you tell me you're an environmentalist, I've already lost interest.
Right.
Because I figure I can do the whole thing from there.
From there, yes.
But if you tell me you're a Grateful Dead fan and you do a lot of acid and you're working on nuclear power, he said, then we can talk. And that was the thing with Greg Gutfeld. Man.
Right.
You would think you had the whole menu there.
Yep.
I know what he's talking about. I know what he's doing. It's Fox News. We've been there. We understand it. And then he would surprise you.
He'd curveball you.
And he'd have this like libertarian perspective or some other perspective on something that wasn't exactly the same. And I've been talking to him, because...
I liked him because he did make other people at Fox nervous too. And that's
Oh, yeah. He did make...
No matter what station you're on, make the people there a little nervous.
Sure. Yeah. And we're saying the same thing in a different way.
Yeah.
Just don't let me be able to predict everything.
Exactly. That's a bore.
Yeah. And maybe be able to, and also it shows that you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because, party lines are never going to be right for you if you're an individual.
Right.
Surprise me a little bit. And also Greg's take on Trump is so complex.
Yeah.
I'd rather he be embarrassing us trying to buy Greenland than bombing the Middle East.
Yeah.
And
what's the Greenland thing all about too?
I don't know what's going on there.
Then he canceled the conversation. Didn't he supposed to meet with the leader?
Then he canceled because she wouldn't sell him Greenland, which, by the way, buying and selling people, we're not supposed to do anymore.
No more.
And we also don't want to do it anymore.
And ain't it imperialism that we try to end with Europe, with England trying to do it in World War II?
But he's got this hard-on for Scandinavia.
Yeah, he does.
Such a hard-on for Scandinavia. First, he wants people from Norway to come over.
Yeah.
And then he, in his biography, which he didn't write, but in The Art of the Deal, he claims his father's from Sweden. And his father's German.
Yeah, but you don't understand that all white people in Europe are from Germany. I don't care what country they live in now. But they're all from Germania. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just that whole. And
But
the
he
other
just
thing
want to
is-
trace his. I don't know what Trump is trying to rewrite his life.
has rewritten his life.
Yeah.
He's in a whole different way. And, the Greenland thing, what's really creepy about it is Greenland is becoming more valuable because of climate change, which is going to kill us. So celebrating that, there's a lot more ore that's more available because the fucking ice is melting. And the ice is melting. Goodbye, New York.
We're going to flood. Yeah. It's going to be water world.
And lots of other problems. I mean, it's just it's so creepy to be cashing in
on
something that awful.
Yes.
Something that awful.
But he didn't see profit. I mean, if he's a business dude.
No, he's not. No, he is not. I will fight you. I will take you to the mats on this.
Just because his father left him $300 million.
Yes, exactly.
I know.
Exactly. That's not a business guy. I will tell you, a guy that opens a store while he's going to college, down the street from his college, that is a fucking businessman.
Thank you.
A guy that gets $300 million from his father and keeps that below $300 million for the next 20 years is not a businessman. That is a loser. Let me ask you something. Do you have, this is a personal question.
Okay.
Do you have more money right now in your bank account than was given to you by your parents?
Yes.
You're a successful businessman. End of story. End of story. If that number is negative, you are not a successful. So don't you ever, in my presence, call him a businessman again. Don't you fucking ever do that. Because you know something? My dad left me all the money he could, which was next to nothing.
Right.
I have now got more money than my dad left me. I'm a successful.
You're a success.
If you want to talk about a successful businessman, look in the mirror, motherfucker. Then you'll talk about a successful businessman. Okay, we're done with that subject. He is a guy who is a spoiled fucking brat.
Spoiled rotten.
Yeah.
Rotten.
Spoiled fucking brat by a father who had very bad business practices. The way he got rich was doing things that is outside, I'll speak for you, outside of our morality.
Right.
Ripping off poor people.
Yeah.
That's not the way you get rich.
Right.
There's ways to get rich that really, really help people. As a matter of fact, most ways to get rich really, really help people. But his way of getting rich, not good. And having less money than dad left you, not a good business.
His father was slumlord in it? Was he that slumlord?
Yeah. Big slumlord. And also, I mean, there's all this, Colbert was trying to get me to say that I heard Trump use the N-word when I was on Celebrity Apprentice. I did not.
Okay.
And
I've been trying to get Ann Coulter to say that on my podcast just so I can sell the footage and buy black people houses.
Everybody was saying, Penn doesn't have the guts to support this. And I would say I didn't hear it.
Right.
I heard a lot of stuff that I found made me very uncomfortable racially.
Okay, what? Like
very no, I just
come on, break it down. Give me one.
Just a vibe.
Oh, the vibe in there?
Just unpleasant. The way he spoke to people who were co-workers of mine.
Okay.
There was a different tone he used to Little John than he used to me.
Okay.
Different tone. Okay. And most of what I'm saying is about how well he treated me, as opposed to the people that weren't as much like him as he perceived me to be.
Right.
And that means racially, that also means
height.
gender.
It also means height, too, because he likes height.
Oh, no, he doesn't like taller than him.
Not taller than him.
He does not like that. I will tell you right now, we did.
This is great.
When he first, James Comey was driving him crazy.
Right.
I'm reading about James Comey and Trump.
He's like 6'5", man.
No, that's very important.
Okay.
6'8".
8?
Comey is 6'8". And I read that he was 6'8", and I went, oh, man, because I was backstage. And the way it was set up was there were all these people from Apprentice going to be on the Today Show.
Right.
On the Today Show. And for some reason, who knows, they were all entering from one side. And Trump and I were entering from the other.
Okay.
And the wings space was really, really small.
Right.
So for the whole commercial segment before we went on, Trump and I are standing in a 4-foot square space.
Right.
So we're just nose to nose. And I am taller than Trump.
Yeah.
by a bit.
Right.
Like 2 inches.
Okay.
Maybe 3. Maybe 4. So we're standing backstage, because he lies about his height. So we're standing backstage, and his nose is below my chin, right about my chin. And we're really close together, closer than American men in the 20th century would want to be.
Okay.
Standing closer.
No personal space.
Yeah, no personal space. And we're not saying anything. We're going to go out there and pimp the stupid show.
Right.
We're not saying anything. And then a long time goes by, and he says, You're taller than me. Simple sentence, said like a 4-year-old. To which I say, and I've got a lot of money too. And on that sentence, they say, ladies and gentlemen, Penn Jillette. And I walk out on stage.
Oh.
I was very proud of that.
That is gangster.
So when I saw James Comey 6'8", and I said, man, and those two are in a room and they're going at each other, Trump does not like that. So Trump very much likes a person with a lighter complexion. Definitely likes that.
Yeah.
Okay. He definitely likes someone who identifies as male gender.
Yeah.
He definitely likes that.
Okay.
I got that going for me, but a little taller than him, no.
Didn't like that at all.
He would like a Nordic guy about 6 foot, maybe 5'11" would make him really, really happy. We're going to do another one.
What was he saying to Little John, goddammit?
I will tell you. Here,
I gotta know something.
I will tell you the whole story, but I'm not going to tell it here with a microphone, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I would have told the story on the air in a second and over and instantly if he weren't president.
Okay.
But now he's president, and there were 12 cameras on me, which means I keep a journal like a high school child.
Right.
I keep a journal, and I go back and read 20 years ago stories that I tell, and I know that I'm not completely accurate.
Okay.
So I know that I'm not going to get it word for word.
Okay.
So I'll tell you the story, and I'll give you the vibe, and I'll give you my heart, but some of the words may be wrong.
Okay.
And I believe that when you're talking about the President of the United States, you have to be held to a standard of absolute. And I did not have a recorder going. I don't know. And I'm sure you can get Little John to tell you the story, and I'm sure you can get Arsenio to tell you the story.
Arsenio too.
Yeah, he was in the room. And I can tell you the story, and I will also tell you what Little John said to me after, which was taking me down heavy and really blew my mind, and Little John taught me a lot.
Really?
But I'm not going to do that. I'm not trying to be coy to the people. I'm just saying that this is like you're on the witness stand, and someone says to you, exactly what did this person say to you 5 years ago? Your answer, if you're a good person, is going to be, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I get
But I'll tell you the general idea, and I'll tell you the general idea. But I got to find this piece of paper. Don't I got to talk about
It
something?
fell behind you.
It's
Quit.
behind me?
Oh, it's on the floor back there.
Okay, thank you. I'll roll off it here.
Ooh, I can't wait to that juiciness. I gotta hear that juiciness.
Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
I can't wait to tell the story at the
Would you
barbershop.
like mine?
No, I can make it. I got to roll.
You gotta roll off of it.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done. There we go.
Sherrod and I could go back to the mats while you're doing it.
But it was so worth it. Okay, Quip. This is a toothbrush thing. Use electric toothbrush?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Quip has this great, simplifies the morning and the evening now with a simpler electric toothbrush from Quip. Timed sonic vibrations cover the basics of every part of your mouth. It just takes 2 minutes twice a day. The mirror mount, which of course Godot likes most, sticks right in your mirror. Beautiful thing, right in front and center of your bathroom.
Oh, nice.
It's wonderful for travel, lightweight, compact design. Bring it along with you on those long summer weekend getaways. Sensitive sonic vibrations for effective clean that's gentle. I love an electric toothbrush. I just love it. I think everybody uses them now.
Yeah.
But this is a good one. Built-in 2-minute timer, multi-use cover. Brush heads are automatically delivered. That's the important thing. They just send it to you.
Oh.
It's like a subscription. You get all your power, everything. I love Quip. Great toothbrush. Take it with me on the road. Fits in it really nicely. That's why I love Quip. It's perfect for getting back into the routine. Quip starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/Penn right now, you can get your first refill pack for free. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/PENN.
PENN.
Boom.
Pen. So what else you got to say? Where else?
Quip.
You got anybody in the next 2 or 3 weeks? Where are you playing that people can see you?
I'll be, I'm doing 14 shows here this week at the Rio, the Comedy Cellar. And then I'm going to do 4 of my podcasts. Well, Kurt Metzger's out here too, another comedian who I do so we're going to do some Race Wars podcast live here. And then,
And just for clarity, the Comedy Cellar is on the ground floor.
It's on the ground floor. That's right.
Not in the cellar.
That's right. At the Rio is on the ground floor, yeah. And in New York is under, There's a couple, though. There's 3 rooms in New York now. It's the Fat Black, the original cellar, and then the underground, cellar underground. So it's a cellar / underground, Village Underground. So it's 2 names for being under. Yeah. They overdo it on some. But yeah, I'll be there for 14. Then I'm taping this new show for BuzzFeed when I get back to New York, and I'll just be doing stand-up.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll find you. And your website?
Smallworldcomedy.com.
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 Now, have you been to Small World at Disneyland?
Yes, as a younger person.
I believe I shouldn't say this. I guess there was Auschwitz and lots of other bad stuff. Rwanda.
What? That's what it's
the worst. I think it's the worst place on earth.
Oh, the Disney?
Small World.
Oh, Small World.
Small World. That exhibit is
it's the worst.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It's a world of junkies, a world of dope. It's a world without God, so there is no hope. It's a world of despair. Tell me, why should we care? It's a small world after all. You've been through a small world.
I have.
Horrible.
You hated it?
Nightmare.
Is it one of the deplorable places Trump said to go back to?
It's just terrible. Little dolls sing a horrible song. But
these things.
Smallworldcomedy.com will bring you to Sherrod.
That's right.
And that's a good thing.
That's a great
That's a very good thing.
Did you watch the Seinfeld Comedians in Cars with Eddie Murphy?
I did not.
You got to watch that.
Is that good?
You got to watch
The
that.
only one I've watched so far is the Letterman one.
Oh, that was a good one, too.
Which killed
Chrissy always told me about, and Seinfeld, too, they always say this about Eddie, that he's the only comedian with mystique.
Uh-huh.
Like, out of all the comics, there's like something about Eddie that you can't put your finger on, and it makes him better than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you, how does Chris write?
He usually writes like in the house. He'll just write it. He'll write little like bullet points.
No, but I'm asking real detail.
Right.
Does he write longhand on a pad like Eminem? Does he work in his computer like Carlin?
He does a little bit of all that.
Uh-huh.
What he usually does is bullet points, take it to the stage, stretch it out on stage, tape it on stage, listen back to it, and then try to write out the bit in long form.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it usually goes like that.
And does he carry a notebook with him all the time?
Most of the time, yeah. He
But
uses his phone, use his phone or a notebook, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And how do you work?
I do the same thing. I usually write most of my stuff in my phone or in a notebook. I know like George Carl Wallace. Mm-hmm. He always got his legal pad with him.
Right.
We always teasing him because you go to his house, it's fucking 20,000 legal pads. I'm like, no way you go through all these again. It's like, you ain't will read that one. He got so many. So it's like, I just try to stay on top of whatever I write down and keep it compiled so I know I'll always revisit it. And
I've always felt, inferior because I can't read my own writing.
right.
So
like your handwriting?
I can't write. I can't write longhand. So my mom was a typing teacher.
Okay.
She taught me to type when I was 12. I can move on a keyboard.
Yeah.
I can move on my phone, but I can't write longhand. I've always had this romance. Bob Dylan, Blood of the Tracks.
Right.
You've got these beautiful, you got 3 of them, these little notebooks, this perfect little writing.
That's how he wrote it?
All the lyrics, everything crossed out and fixed. And,
Really?
Bob writes longhand, or he types and writes it in there. George Carlin had those notebooks he carried with him.
Yeah.
And I always think, boy, that's what a real professional grown-up does.
Right,
So when I hear
Right.
George Wallace having all his legal pads, I go, yeah, that's what I should do. Yeah. That would make me good. But I have, thousands of pages. I
Right.
write a couple thousand words a day, but it's all, I bought a laptop. I said when we went off Broadway, I said, if we get a good review in the New York Times, I'm buying a computer. That was.
I'm glad to see you treat yourself.
That was 85. Was Teller and I had this.
Oh, 85. Okay.
Teller and I had this rule, this absolute rule, that we would celebrate any major financial accomplishment with coffee and donuts. Because we had all these friends, you know, in rock and roll bands and stuff, who they'd sign a contract, they go out and buy a car.
Right.
They buy all this shit, and we see them 2 years later, fucked up, trying to go back and get this stuff.
Right.
Or they go out and they get drunk at something. So Tell and I would sign biggest contract of our life, go out, have a cup of coffee, couple of donuts. Tell and I would say, we can afford that. $5. $5 in, that's our celebration.
Genius.
Then we move on. So finally, when we were going to go off Broadway, it was going to be a really big deal. The New York Times, I said, if there's a good review, I'm going to buy a computer because I always wanted one more than anything.
Right.
And Teller was like, ooh, you know, that's, I said, go do it, go do it. So, and
You sure you're not Jewish?
from that day on,
Right.
I just typed everything all the time. And, you know, and I've written 8 books and done all that, and I love typing. But when I see somebody with a notebook or a legal pad, that little kind of writing,
takes you back to-
oh, I just say, I think I should be like that.
It's the romance.
I would be so much better. That's right. You know, and then my friend Stephen Fry, you know Stephen Fry in England?
Yes.
Yeah, Stephen Fry, you know, I'm reading his book on poetry. He says, you know, you must always carry a moleskin notebook with you and a pencil and take notes on everything. And I just go, I wrote to him, it's in his book, you know, he's teaching poetry and I'm trying to learn it and study it. I said, I need special permission from you to type. Because I even bought the fucking moleskin notebook. I even got the pencil.
Wow.
I wrote. I looked a week later. I could not read it.
Right.
No memory whatsoever
Ever of
what
it,
I
right.
wrote down. I cannot
Just scribble.
I cannot write. But you can write. You can type. You can do everything.
Yeah, I used to, because I took type. I remember I used to hate taking a typing class back in school.
Yeah.
Like, when the fuck am I going to type? Little did I know computers were coming.
Yeah.
I used to hate the home row key. Like, what are we doing? But everything, you made it now.
And of course, then that goes away.
Then it goes away.
I mean, within 5 years, 10 years,
What?
No typing. What do you think, Reddy?
It's all going to
You
be
know,
audio.
We're still a while away, I
I'll be
think.
ver- you think so?
Yeah.
It's so easy to type. It's so easy to think that way that I almost dread when voice to text gets even better. It's very good now.
Yeah.
I mean, people that are really good at messaging all do voice stuff.
But I like pushing. I like pushing buttons.
It's a nice.
It's kind of like rolling my spliffs. I like the process.
Now, when you do you listen to yourself back?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hate hearing it, but I have to do it.
I can't do it.
I hate hearing it.
It makes me feel like every time I hear myself, I want to quit show business. it's just terrible. I just go, what was I thinking? What was I thinking?
It's a lot to take in hearing your voice.
Yeah.
And definitely if you say something wrong or you're saying something that you want to say a different way, it's rough.
I know.
It's rough.
You know, we go through and watch those Letterman things. And I just go, I bit a little bit. I just turned that just a little bit. Why was I touching my face? Why am I stuttering? Why did I say that word twice? There was no reason to say that word twice. Ah!
How many times you did the Letterman show when it was on?
Forever. We were on in
Used
the
to love
80s.
it,
We were
love it,
on
love
like every month.
Yes.
So we did it dozens of times.
Crazy.
And it was, being.
This was when he was the first of Late, and then when he moved up.
Yeah. We did both.
We used to stay up and watch Letterman. I mean, he was one of my favorite stand-ups. Even though I rarely saw his actual stand-up, I loved him, his delivery.
It was the best.
Everything. I'm telling you.
You'd be sitting there, and the tension was so great because people don't understand, because I don't even understand what Carson would do. Carson, you'd be called over to the couch and then you'd have a career for the next 20 years.
Right.
I mean, the magic of, but even then in the 80s, Letterman was a big deal.
Yeah.
So he'd work on a brand new trick, so we're not going on with just material.
Right.
We got to do sleight of hand and shit, and props got to work and stuff.
Right.
So we're sitting there and the cameras are running, the audience is there, you're looking Letterman in the eye, you're 4 feet from what I believe is the best there's ever been at that job.
I'm with you on that.
I loved Johnny Carson.
Me too. Loved him.
And you can go back to Steve Allen and Jack Paar, and you can talk about how great Conan is, and Fallon does a great job, and Kimmel. They're all really wonderful.
But Letterman
at another fucking level. Letterman, I got to tell you, Letterman about 89, you're not doing better.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
I got to sit there
Right.
and watch him work. You know,
That's cool.
and you'd be sitting there and you'd see him just tee it up for me to do a joke, and then just wait, and then let it work, and let the trick work, and do the turn just right.
Right.
And you'd say, man, he is completely, absolutely in the moment, and at the same time, he's watching the whole thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they'll tell you got to be in the moment, and that's a lie. You got to be in the moment and also watching it.
Right.
He can do both those things at once. He knew where we were going, and
He didn't step on it.
never.
Never. He's
Never
a fucking
get
pro.
Never get in your way.
Yeah.
He would have a funnier joke than you had loaded, and you would be going with it. He wouldn't stop you.
Right.
Never did that stuff. And I got to say that when you're on with anybody else, you know, Conan or any of those people,
Yeah.
they're great.
Yeah.
They're wonderful. But I think any of them would tell you
Letterman
was at a whole different level.
He was.
And I watched his new show.
Oh, I watched it. I liked it.
I watched the Obama.
I watched the Kanye one.
Was Kanye good?
Kanye was good.
Yeah.
And he opened up to Dave too.
Oh, yeah.
It was fucking great.
I
Because he just went in like he didn't know. Like Dave would just ask him questions, being honest, and Kanye opened up and really, it was good. Letterman is a pro.
Yeah, he's really good. You like him with the big beard?
Yeah.
Like the big
Like him with the beard, scaring his kid. His kid don't want to play with him no more. He loved that kid, Harry. Wasn't Harry his little son?
Harry loved
Now
him.
Harry's a teenager now. Don't want nothing to do with him.
Is that true?
Yes. Get that dumb beard out of here trying to date. Kids change on you.
So you never got to do Letterman, did you?
No, I never did Letterman, but I did Kimmel and stuff like that. I did Conan.
Yeah.
But I never got to do Letterman. I wish I'm the biggest fan.
Well, you got to do. You'll do his full. Needs no introduction.
Oh, that's right. I would love to do that.
Needs no introduction. Sherrod Small. I just
yes.
said your name wrong.
Don't worry about it.
Sherrod Small needs no introduction. That was Penn Sunday School.
Boom!
Now we go out properly. Cha cha cha.
Nice. I want to hear that story.
I'll tell you.
Oh.
Yeah, go to the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
Rio. All Suite Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Right near the Penn and Teller Theater. Make a night of it. See us, see Sherrod.
Boom.
And you doing a show on BuzzFeed? What are you doing on BuzzFeed?
Yeah, I'm doing a show on BuzzFeed.
I mean, your own show?
No, I'm on there with other people, but
Okay.
yeah, it's like a weekly show now.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
You know I love you.
Nice.